My. We are living in strange times, aren't we? Many things are changing all around us. And while some of these changes are granted and sanctioned, there are other changes that are intrusive or are being forced upon us. Most people that I know of on a regular basis are exposed to some form of media, whether it be music, cable television, movies, or YouTube, even written articles, blogs, and other forms of social media. Most people in the world now have at least one digital device with a screen, and even if they don't have access to the internet, in some remote places, they will. Let me tell you a quick story. Once upon a time, before the internet, people were limited to cable television, where they would watch the majority of their news, sports, weather, movies, TV shows. They would listen to the radio to hear the latest music, weather, and news. Written articles were read from newspapers and magazines. If you wanted to get the latest scoop on any celebrity or politician, it mostly came from national news coverage. It wasn't broadcasted in your face. You had to go seek out that information for the most part. The news would spread by word of mouth, and by the time you found out about it, it was old news, or you would just not know about it. Today, all that has changed. It's not gone, but that way of life is over. Now, we are all constantly bombarded with news on every single person, everywhere at all times. YouTube, live streaming services like Twitch, are loaded with countless videos of people you don't even know their names. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a story pop up on YouTube about some performing artist or YouTuber that said or tweeted or did something crazy, and I'm like almost every single time, who in the world is this person? I want to talk about this and more. The entertainment industry and more generally, Hollywood itself. Because Hollywood is not just a place in California, no. The movies, the news, social media, YouTube, we are Hollywood. How many of you know the history of Hollywood, California? It actually reminds me of the idea of people fleeing to America to escape a totalitarian government. But this is not about Hollywood, California, because this is a blanket term that we use to label the music, TV, and film industry as a whole. But there is another part of Hollywood that isn't discussed, as if it's not a part of Hollywood, and it most certainly is a part of it. And that is social media. So let's talk about what's happening. We have a culture now that is plugged into the music, TV, and film industry. The game industry is also part of this. And this culture gains its power from the engagement of the public through social media platforms. Let me tell you what I mean. Right now, there's a lot of talk about Disney because of their acquisitions of certain properties, becoming one of the largest film studios next to Warner Brothers and Sony. Now, the informants of social media, and they come in several forms: film, TV, and game reaction and review videos, blog authors, as well as those who cover the news and the industry, have become somewhat like the watchmen of these industries. Whenever a movie is in talks of production, they are on it. Whenever someone is cast for a role, they are on it. Whenever a film studio does something out of the ordinary or does something that is commendable, they are all over it. And after a post, it is the engagement of the viewers that speaks volumes. And many celebrities have become part of this network. Back in the day, if you wanted to contact a celebrity, you either had to go to where they were to meet them or see them as a fan, or write them a letter. Now, I can pick up my phone and ask, who do you want to talk to? If they're on social media often, let's send them a text message straight to their phones via Instagram or Twitter. Now, whether they respond to that message or even read it, you'd be surprised at just how often celebrities, politicians, athletes do respond to the public. We've seen examples of this, right? Now, at the same time, we have what's called social justice warriors, woke and cancel culture. What, you actually thought that movie was good? Unsubscribe. What? Jumpin' Jack Flash 6969 said what? Oh, his show needs to be canceled. Disney said they're gonna change the look of one of my favorite characters that I grew up with. Not on my watch. And the thing is, these incidences, these stories that are presented to us, they go on and on for weeks, sometimes months. Big movie companies know how this works, and they bank on this fact. This is how they have started to develop characters who will be in major motion pictures. Disney just released their casting choice for their live-action Little Mermaid movie, knowing that there will be some opposition to this. This is how they develop the character now, by getting you used to the person's face, because they can't release a trailer of a Little Mermaid that does not look like Ariel. They have to get the initial shock of that over with now, because they are hoping that this person will grow on you. They do it with superheroes every time. They tell everyone super early on that a certain celebrity will be cast as the role of your favorite hero. A lot of people are unhappy with the choice in the beginning, but after some time, they get used to it and start to go along with the idea. So they get all these people to put up a fuss. Then the opposition of those people will come around and say, well, what's the big deal? These characters aren't real anyways. And then these people also get drawn into the marketing. I say this all the time to my friends when it comes to entertainment. People don't like it when you change things. The only way you can get away with it is if you have more new quality content. But if you change something just for the sake of appealing to a new audience or just to do something fresh, I'm telling you, they're not having it. We are Hollywood. We are the Dr. Frankensteins creating these monsters because we are the ones spending money and valuable time to watch this crap. And there is a fair amount of it. It is not easy to find a good movie, TV show, video game, song. You spend more time looking for the thing. Now, people say there's a lot of truth in movies, even more so than what is presented as real. But do you really think that these movie makers are privy to information we don't already have? You're still waiting for man to reveal the truth to you? The reason I say we are Hollywood or Hollyweird, whatever you want to call it, is because we pay for this. We talk about these companies, movies, TV shows, whether it's good or bad, we still discuss it. And because most people don't know the dynamics of how they present material to us, they are easily manipulated. These motion picture companies will actually drop false outrage among the internet to get you all to think that people are upset or are complaining about something. And I'm telling you that a lot of it is fake. And these things are huge distractions from a secret agenda hidden within Hollywood, all of Hollywood, social media included. So let's take a closer look at some of the main issues that plague us about Hollywood today, starting with predictive programming, which is where you present a problem in a movie, a reaction is elicited, and then you have the characters find a solution to the problem. The goal here is to have people react in real life the same way characters react in movies to the same scenario. So for example, if you are out in the wilderness and you come across a bear, unless you know something about bears, you're going to refer to a movie or a documentary where you have seen another person react in the same scenario, even if it's fictional. And that movie or film is going to direct your course of action based on how successful that person was. See, it is not done to desensitize more than it is done to get you to react in a certain manner. Take an alien invasion, for example. Once they realize and understand that people's initial reaction would be to run away in fear, they match that. Then they can get characters on screen to behave in a certain way and get you to behave in a similar fashion when something goes down in our reality. A common predictive programming theme in many disaster movies is for people to run around in a panic while the government takes care of the problem, attempting to make you all believe and have faith in the government, thinking that they will resolve the issue on your behalf when it is really on their behalf. We have what's called hidden in plain sight, and this is more like subliminal messaging, which is a real thing in Hollywood, and it does at times work. The most popular hidden in plain sight theme is what? Satanic or demonic symbolism? And the only thing I can say to that is, this is not an industry owned by God. I mean, the purpose of media is to send messages to others. But where is the miscommunication? In the way the message was sent or received? We can't sit here and say that there are no secret agendas in Hollywood as of 2019. Things are no longer hidden in plain sight, folks. They are just in plain sight, right in your face. We've all seen various acts of craziness in Hollywood. Think of all the conspiracies and controversies over the years. People you've been entertained by growing up come to find out that they may have been serious criminals the whole time. Now, when it comes to filmmaking, aren't there quite a few conspiracies? Remember how some people were saying that Hollywood likes to put black men in dresses? Dave Chappelle even pointed this out in an interview. And he was right. Hollywood does put a lot of black men in dresses, but everybody forgets to mention how many actors have worn dresses that are not black. William Dafoe, Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon, Tom Hanks, Peter Scolari, Stephen Dorff, Tim Curry, Patrick Swayze, Robin Williams, John Leguizamo, Miguel Bosé, Nathan Lane, John Travolta, Matt LeBlanc, Johnny Depp, Kurt Russell, Dustin Hoffman, James Franco. I could keep going on and on. So again, who does Hollywood like seeing in dresses? I guess the question here is, why is it done? What kind of rite of passage is this? I can picture it now. If you're one of us, you'll put on the dress. I've heard all types of Hollywood agendas. There's whitewashing, a gay agenda, a transgender agenda. There's an agenda to kill the black guy first in movies. There's an agenda to replace red-headed characters. There's an agenda to replace white males. There's a diversity agenda. There's identity politics, virtue signaling, pandering. And that is just a short list of things. Iconic character roles are being changed, rearranged, and turned strange. And a lot of this is mostly marketing. Some of it is to condition you to accept certain things. We all know that Hollywood can be quite perverse. The reason I call this the villains of Hollywood is because we have this love and hate relationship with Hollywood. Reminds me of that quote from The Dark Knight. Either you die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. And we've seen this happen to celebrities all over, including here on YouTube. Which brings me to the point of this presentation, and that is, we are becoming the new Hollywood. And now, Hollywood is controlled by monster companies that just eat up every other growing studio. Now we have Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, YouTube Premium, various streaming services. And then we have independent filmmakers, independent musical artists, YouTube, Twitch. People are making shows out of their lives and interests, beyond what anyone could have ever imagined. Mainstream Hollywood is failing right now. Even with all these billion-dollar movies, the industry is in a steady decline. Who wants to be an aspiring actor or actress when you can just opt to make your own show or movie at home? Now, I've sat here and watched various movie studios drop teasers about upcoming films, some of which aren't even in production yet, but for some reason they want everyone to see what's coming. Why? Well, forgive me for the following rant, but this has got to be one of the most clever marketing schemes I've ever seen. And it almost seems like Hollywood doesn't want to put up another movie unless it can stir controversy. They want these movies to be the topic of conversation. Captain Marvel was shoehorned into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, an almost villain-like character that no one asked for, yet it is a character that has been discussed by many YouTubers despite her unpopularity. Then we had Avengers Endgame, which took out most of the main male characters. Iron Man is dead, Captain America is now too old, the Incredible Hulk is now an incredible mess of trash, Thor took off with the Guardians of the Galaxy to become the Big Lebowski in space, Spider-Man is now a little anxious punk kid, MJ is supposed to be a steaming hot redhead, but obviously too hot for this Spider-Boy. Who's left? The characters nobody really cares about? Captain Marvel, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Bucky, that bird guy, Doctor Strange? I mean, these characters can be interesting, but they are nowhere near iconic. Disney has the characters and everything is going to get much worse. They have a bad habit of rebooting and remaking old franchises. Dumbo was dark and awful. Beauty and the Beast was not needed. The Lion King was not needed. The Little Mermaid is not needed. But because Disney knows this, they are not stupid. Because Disney knows that their audience is going to see less and less of these movies, they rattle the cages by mixing things up. I mean, James Bond 007 will be transforming into a black woman. Have that make sense? It doesn't make sense. It's not supposed to. It's only supposed to get you looking in that direction. We have this show, Batwoman, trash. The new Terminator, trash. You think that I'm afraid to tell you all I'm not going to watch any of this crap? Are you kidding? I can't wait to stop entertaining this garbage. Look at this new Cats movie coming out. I don't know what alien came to Earth to give birth to this abomination. Why there will be a new Lady Thor? For what? So she can hook up with the new King of Asgard, Valkyrie? And this is just what's happening in films as of late. Marvel released a teaser timeline of upcoming movies and TV shows for the next 2 years, MCU Phase 4. Of course, only to get everyone talking about it. Toontown. Disneyland is now in the World Star Hip Hop Hall of Fame for one of the funniest video fights I have ever seen all year. And yes, I said it, it was funny. And keep your eyes open because these types of incidences will be on the rise. People are going to be more and more on edge. These are just snippets of what is going on in mainstream Hollywood. There are so many more stories. Everything is becoming so splish-splash. It creates a volume of media coverage and it struggles to stay alive. Now, this is not to say that mainstream Hollywood is going anywhere anytime soon, but these changes are shifting attitudes. And I'm telling you, they will create false outrage to get people going. Nobody knows where the outrage is coming from. Oh, SJWs, who's that? I don't know who that is supposed to be. Do they have names? Are we talking about the people who write articles? Don't tell me we're talking about the people who leave comments. And how many of these people does it take to influence movie makers? The reason Hollywood is known for all these things is that they all happen in Hollywood. Propaganda and the like. And some would say, well, Woodward, why talk about this? Is it really that important? Well, yes, it is. Because it is part of the fabric of society. Movies, TV shows, music videos, radio, and now social media. This even spreads into a part of Hollywood that I don't think many people realize exists. And those are festivities. Comic-Con, VidCon, E3, Burning Man, concerts, art festivals. These are places people go to be entertained, to see a show in one form or another. And often, people role play. They let loose. They can be anything they want. So all these things, folks, would be considered a huge part of our culture. And our participation is what causes the good things to thrive, but our participation in the wrong things could influence and propagate an unhealthy lifestyle for those who haven't really experienced these things, namely children. Now I want to let you all know something, and this is a secret. Right now, the only thing that is really keeping people in check is them knowing that at any moment they could be under surveillance or recorded, caught on camera. I cannot even begin to tell you all how many videos I have seen where people thought that they were not being recorded, and surprise, it's all over the internet. Now what are you gonna do? And the scary part is, soon, very soon, I think, a growing number of people will stop caring. And as these earth changes continue to occur, I do believe the effects will rev people up. High anxiety, higher levels of stress, pain, anger, violence. Hollywood is kind of a world of make-believe, and we often live in a world of make-believe. There's absolutely nothing wrong with getting away from it all. But at the same time, we must not let reality get away from us.